It is a deeply unsettling and confusing experience, one that turns your reality upside down. The person who has caused you immense pain suddenly claims they are the one who has been wronged. This is the narcissist's ultimate power play, the victim card. They are masters of this manipulative art form, twisting narratives with such conviction that they can make you, their actual victim, question your own sanity. They will recount stories of their supposed suffering, painting themselves as the misunderstood martyr in a world that has been cruel to them. This isn't just a simple lie, it's a strategic performance designed to disarm you, to garner sympathy from others, and to escape all accountability for their harmful actions. This tactic is not born from genuine hurt, but from a desperate need to maintain control and a pristine public image. Narcissists have a fragile sense of self, an ego that cannot withstand the slightest crack. Admitting fault is not just difficult for them, it is an existential threat. Therefore, they must construct an alternate reality where they are perpetually the injured party. They will meticulously curate an audience, spinning tales of your supposed cruelty, your unreasonableness, or your instability. This performance allows them to control the story, ensuring that any blame directed their way is immediately deflected back onto you, leaving them blameless and you holding all the responsibility. The effectiveness of this manipulation lies in its sheer audacity. It is so counterintuitive, so contrary to the actual events that it leaves you stunned into silence. You know what really happened. You remember the cutting words, the dismissive gestures, the cold indifference. Yet, here they are, weeping or raging about how you have wounded them. This grand illusion is meant to isolate you. While they are out collecting sympathy and allies, you are left alone with the truth, a truth that suddenly feels heavy and unbelievable. This is a deliberate strategy to ensure you have no support system, making you easier to control and manipulate in the future. We must understand this behavior for what it is, a profound form of psychological abuse. It's a calculated maneuver designed to erode your self-worth and your perception of reality. When the predator convincingly plays the prey, they are not just avoiding blame, they are actively inflicting more pain. They are rewriting history in real time, and in their version, you are the villain. This role reversal is incredibly damaging because it invalidates your genuine suffering. It tells you that your pain doesn't matter, that your feelings are wrong, and that you are the source of the problem. This is the first step in a long and painful journey of emotional entanglement. The silence that follows a narcissist's victim playing is not a peaceful one. It is a loud, suffocating silence filled with unspoken words and swallowed pain. You find yourself unable to defend yourself, not because you are wrong, but because the situation has been so expertly twisted that any attempt to speak your truth sounds like an attack. If you try to point out their lie, you are accused of being aggressive or cruel. If you bring up evidence of their behavior, you are told you are living in the past or making things up. You are trapped in a conversational labyrinth where every path leads to you being further vilified, so you learn that silence is the safest, albeit most painful option. This experience creates a thick mental fog, a state of perpetual confusion often referred to as cognitive dissonance. Your mind is struggling to hold two opposing ideas at once: the reality of the abuse you experienced and the narcissist's compelling narrative of their own victimhood. This internal conflict is exhausting. You start to second-guess your own memories and perceptions. Did I remember that correctly? Maybe I was too sensitive. Perhaps I am the one who is overreacting. This self-doubt is precisely what the narcissist wants. A confused and unsure victim is a compliant victim, one who is less likely to challenge their authority or leave the abusive dynamic. The inability to speak up is not a sign of weakness, it is a trauma response. When you are repeatedly punished for telling the truth, your brain learns to protect you by shutting down your voice. It becomes a survival mechanism. You may find yourself dissociating during conversations, feeling as though you are watching a movie of your own life rather than participating in it. This emotional numbing is a way to cope with the overwhelming pain of being blamed for someone else's toxic behavior. It's a desperate attempt to create distance from a reality that has become too painful to fully inhabit, a silent retreat into the safety of your own mind. This silencing has devastating long-term effects on your sense of self. Your identity becomes entangled with the false narrative the narcissist has created. You may start to believe you are indeed difficult, unlovable, or inherently flawed. This erosion of self-esteem is one of the most insidious consequences of this type of emotional abuse. It's not just that you can't speak up to the narcissist, you may start to lose the ability to speak up for yourself in any area of your life. Your voice, once a tool of self-expression, becomes a forgotten instrument locked away by fear and confusion. Living with a narcissist who constantly plays the victim is like walking through a minefield of emotional triggers. Every day is a delicate dance of trying to avoid setting them off. You measure your words, monitor your tone, and hide your own feelings to prevent them from launching into a tirade about how you have hurt them. A simple request, like asking them to help with a chore, can be twisted into an accusation that you think they are lazy, leading to a lengthy monologue about how unappreciated and overworked they are. You wanted a partner, but instead, you have become a full-time manager of another adult's fragile emotions. Let's consider a common example. Imagine you had a difficult day at work, and you come home hoping for some comfort. You start to share your frustrations, but within minutes the conversation is no longer about you. The narcissist will interrupt, saying something like, "You think you had a bad day? Let me tell you what I had to deal with." They will proceed to detail their own exaggerated struggles, effectively hijacking your moment of vulnerability. If you express disappointment that they didn't listen, they will accuse you of being selfish and uncaring about their pain. You quickly learn that your needs will always come second to their manufactured crises. Another classic scenario involves finances. Suppose the narcissist overspends on a luxury item without discussing it with you, putting a strain on the household budget. When you gently bring up your concern about the expense, you are not met with understanding or apology. Instead, you are accused of trying to control them and deny them any happiness. They might say, "I work so hard and I can't have one nice thing, you just want to make me miserable." Suddenly, you are the villain for being financially responsible, while they are the poor, deprived victim who just wanted a small moment of joy. The actual issue, the irresponsible spending, is completely buried under their performance of being wronged. This constant state of high alert is mentally and physically draining. The stress of perpetually managing the narcissist's ego and avoiding their manufactured outrage takes a heavy toll. You may experience anxiety, insomnia, headaches, and a weakened immune system. The emotional labor is immense. You are not only dealing with your own life's challenges but also carrying the weight of their projected insecurities and endless demands for validation. The peace in your own home is held hostage by their whims, and you are the one who must pay the ransom every single day with your silence, your compliance, and your own well-being. Reclaiming your voice after it has been silenced by a narcissist is a journey, not a destination. It begins with the quiet, radical act of validation. You must start by validating your own experiences to yourself. Get a journal and write down what happened, exactly as you remember it. Do not censor yourself or soften the details. This is not for anyone else to read, it is for you. It is a way of creating an external record of your reality, a concrete anchor to hold on to when the fog of gaslighting tries to roll in. Reading your own words will help you see the patterns of abuse more clearly and affirm that you are not crazy. Your pain is real, and it matters. The next step is to seek external validation from a safe source. This could be a trusted friend who is a good listener, a support group for survivors of narcissistic abuse, or, ideally, a qualified therapist who understands personality disorders. Sharing your story with someone who will listen without judgment is incredibly powerful. When someone else hears your truth and says, "I believe you," that sounds horrible. That was not your fault. It begins to dismantle the false reality the narcissist built around you. This external validation acts as a mirror, reflecting your true self back to you and chipping away at the layers of self-doubt. As you build your support system, you can begin to practice setting small boundaries. This will feel terrifying at first. A boundary is not about changing the narcissist, it's about protecting yourself. It can be as simple as saying, "I'm not going to discuss this with you anymore," and then walking away. Or, "I will not accept blame for that." Expect a backlash. The narcissist will likely escalate their victim playing and accusations. But this is where your support system and your journal become your lifelines. They remind you that the backlash is a predictable tantrum, not a reflection of your worth. Each small boundary you successfully hold strengthens your resolve. Finally, Finding your voice is about reconnecting with your own needs and desires. The narcissist made their needs the center of the universe, and you likely forgot you even had any. Start small. Ask yourself, what do I want to eat for dinner? What movie do I want to watch? What would bring me a small moment of joy today? It's about shifting the focus back to you. Healing is a slow process of rediscovering the person you were before the abuse and nurturing that person back to health. There is immense hope. Escaping the narcissist narrative is possible. You can move forward, rebuild your life based on your own truth, and find a future where your voice is clear, strong, and unapologetically yours.